has really, stood out and maybe impressed you with Eugene's transition so far?
Man, Gene has come in ready to go. I'm excited about Gene. He's someone that, even with his background, even with his family background, you worry about kids coming in like that just with, all right, is he hungry? Does he think he's just going to walk in and he's arrived? And this joker's worked. Everything that he's done, man, it's really been impressive to see. Obviously we got to learn at this level just the things that it takes, like the strain, the finish, all of those things on a consistent basis. But man, I've just been proud of the way that he's grown over these last 13 practices. The fun part is we still got a long ways to go. But man, for a kid to come in like him, humble, hungry, just everything that we're about as a program, and just stay down and consistently working, watching from the older guys, taking the good things they do and also taking the things that he can learn from them as well. Man, I've been very impressed with him so far this day. So,
what about Jaden Ballard? I mean, he didn't necessarily get a ton of reps at Ohio State, but is it evident that he was in a program like that for 4 years when he comes here?
Yeah, you know what? Jaden is somebody, man, he has the physical traits and the physical tools without a question. And our job as coaches is, man, we got to bring it out on a consistent basis. That's our job and our goal for him, man. I challenge the guys all the time, man, don't be just satisfied with making the play, be satisfied with how you make the play. Because one day there's going to come a time and opportunity where, maybe somebody is going to be right next to me. How do you go operate from that moment on? But man, he is a kid that, he's come in and he's continuously tried to buy in to the way that we do things here and the approach that we've done things here. And it's been fun to see him grow and strive. But it's been apparent just in terms of the talent that he possesses. But at the end of the day, we got to be consistent in everything that we do, and that's the fun part about the growth process that we've had over these last 13 practices.
It's tough for any coach to kind of come into a new program, but you came into a room where there was quite a few guys in and quite a few guys out. How do you kind of navigate that to start the spring? And what's kind of like the camaraderie now with this room? With the new people?
Well, at the end of the day, me being in this position, without a question, it's about the impact and the relationships that can form with these young men. And in doing that, showing them that, hey, everything that I do, there's a purpose behind it, and everything that I do, I want to do it with the best intentions with you in mind. Like on a day-to-day basis, I deal with these young men's dreams and livelihoods, and I don't take that lightly. And so being able to form the relationships that are needed, I think Coach Vic is something that's hammered on very, very evidently. And, telling guys like, yo, you're not where you need to be, or hey, you've done good in this aspect, we need to improve in this aspect. Communicating in a black and white tone to where, hey, like there is no gray area in between. And just making sure guys understand, like, hey, I have this expectation for you. The expectation for the position, not just the player. And they all understand that from that regard as well. But the relationships have been awesome. Having the guys over, seeing the guys holding each other accountable. I think that's when you really got the makings of a strong bond of a room. And we still got so much further to go. And that's the fun part about it, the process we're in.
With a guy like, Chris Brooks, what's kind of jumped out, to you in terms of how he's been developing and things?
Yeah, Chris Brooks is, I would say, without a question, the standard of the room right now. We talk to the room about being hungry and playing aggressive and playing every play like it's your last. There's nobody without a question that embodies that more than Chris Brooks right now. I'm talking about it's almost every play like it is his last. And, he's a guy that he's dealt with some injuries over the past couple years. And, man, every time he's out there, you can tell, like, man, just the blessing to be out here, to be in this moment, to take advantage of the opportunities that I do have with my teammates. He does not take that lightly. And so if we could have 1,000 Chris Brooks on this team, boy, we'd be in a special place right now. So it's been fun to see him mature. It's fun to see he's a guy that's been around a lot of ball, and he knows the college football landscape. Very smart, prepares the right way. Just got to continue to fine-tune some of the details and the technique things. And, man, I really am impressed with the way he's been transcending.
Just to follow up from a skill set standpoint, what has he been doing that's beside the hard work that's kept him coming out?
You know what? Chris is a bigger figure, obviously, and everybody can see that just in terms of his frame and masculinity, man. He's been somebody that, without a question, has been able to make the contested catches. Some of the second-level routes, whether it's the five-step glance routes and the slants versus man-to-man coverage and things of that nature. He's been showing that I can make these plays on a consistent basis. That's probably been one of the more fun things to be, especially for a bigger guy like himself. Being able to play your size is, without a question, critical. And so that's been fun and enlightening to see from a guy like himself.
We've heard Luke say a few times that some of the older guys, some of the guys that he knows were pretty established. He didn't want them to have as many reps here in the spring. Is Vinny Anthony one of those guys that maybe you've had to pull back the reins a little bit because you know what you kind of have there?
I would say yes and no at the same time, because in the sense that, we still got to get the work in. you know, we gotta get the guys in the right timing with obviously new quarterback coming in. We got to get the timing together. Guys got to develop that chemistry from that regard as well. And man, you know what? Vinny's a guy that's like, man, I don't want to sit back. I want to go work, because he knows he's still got things to work on himself, and that's the competitor in him. And, you know, we talk about the mama mentality all the time. Like, man, never gets tired. Always find something to work on, and that's his mindset right now, especially going into the last one for him. I got things to work on and improve on. I want to leave no doubt, without a question.
This room lost a lot of veterans from last year. I'm curious about who has stepped up as being the vocal leaders in the room.
Yeah, without a question. I think the two guys that have stepped up from my regard would be Chris Brooks and Tyrell Henry. Tyrell Henry has been very vocal in terms of how he's done things. He's been consistent on the field as well. And it showed his confidence, his charisma that he possesses and he carries himself with. And then he walks with it like just a shining light. And it's infectious and it's contagious to the guys in the room, without a question. Man, but the way he's been able to take some of these young guys, even some of the older guys when he's on the field, just picking them up like, yo, we good, come on, let's get this, we got this. Like, it's been really fun to see, man. And Chris Brooks is the same way, man, even more from the challenging guys' perspective. And I know I highlight those two guys, but there's so many others. Just there's moments where I can see the whole group, and I think that goes back to the relationship aspect we talked about before. Guys being able to see like, yo, you better than that, come on. Like, hey, that's you, let's keep that up, let's go keep consistent with that. And that's been the fun thing in the Lightning scene to see. But man, those two guys really stand out in terms of being able to pull guys up, bring them further along as well.
The slot position stretch goes out at the beginning of the spring. Since then, there's been quite a few guys that have kind of gotten that opportunity. Who have you kind of seen that stood out at that position? So
yeah, Tyrell, just a guy we talked about, Tyrell Henry. I mean, he's helped himself tremendously this spring, without a question. Didn't blink and bat an eye. And, you know, it was fun to see him, just the way he plays fast, the way he's able to create separation on a consistent basis, playing with twitch, quickness, even when he has the ball in his hands. Like, there's no hesitation. We talk about it in the room all the time, man. Hesitation kills. And he's a guy that when he gets the ball in his hands, it's always north. All right, make the first man miss. Like, there is no hesitation when that kid's playing ball. And it's been really fun to see him help himself tremendously. And I think there's a lot of value in that young man being here, not only just on the field, but off the field as well.
In this offense, there's a lot of opportunities for receivers to get handoffs or get the ball in different ways than just catches. Just what's that like, kind of teaching some of those techniques as well? Yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, you know, guys are, you know, it may be different for a couple of guys in that regard, but I challenge them, man, hey, man, playmakers don't care. Like, plays don't discriminate at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So however we may get to it, whether it's with the ball or without the ball, like, man, playmaker finds a way regardless of the fact. And, you know, it's been fun, to be honest with you. It's been fun just hearing the teachers from Coach Grimes and be able to trickle that down to the guys that we have. And it's new. And if you're any bit of a football player and a competitor, you embrace new. You embrace things that, especially that, hey, we're watching tape, we're watching the NFL guys do it and to go execute it. Like, man, that's fun to watch, especially for all these guys that have those dreams and aspirations as well. So,
now that you've been been coaching the players and just with the recruiting side of things, just what skill sets, both on and off the field, are you looking for with recruiting players? I know you can't talk about commits or any uncommitted recruits, but just who are you looking at? What traits and skill sets are you looking for Wisconsin?
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about us, man, it's more so the mindset of a kid. You know, the mindset, just the dog mentality. A guy that will not be denied. A guy that says no matter what happens or no matter what obstacles is faced in front of me, I'm going to find a way. I think the mindset is the most critical component in terms of this recruiting process and guys that we bring into the building, because that is contagious to the rest of the guys around him as well. I think that without a question, the mindset, you know, obviously all the other factors in terms of skill set, character, athleticism, and does he have production at that level as well? You know, in terms of us, you know, obviously we want guys that can be able to stretch the field. And whether you're a longer guy that has a demeaning trait of length and can make those down the field contested catches, man, love that. We can find a way. But we don't want to be just limited in that factor. We love guys that can make plays with the ball in their hands as well. And the beautiful thing about this system is we're very adaptive in terms of being able to put different guys in different positions, and the scheme can adapt to the guys that we have and we can be able to bring in. And that's the fun thing about a system in this regard. But man, you know, never can go wrong with length, never can go wrong with dogs, never can go wrong with guys that can make plays with the ball in their hands, and you know, we'll be able to teach the rest from there.
On that note, kind of talk about alpha dogs. Some coaches worry that there may be too many alpha dogs in a room where that might create mix in chemistry. Do you kind of worry about that aspect as a wide receiver coach?
No, sir. I don't. I say that's a good problem to have, to be honest with you. So I don't think you can ever have enough dogs in a room. Because at the end of the day, when you have that, and I'd say the mindset of the room is, man, we got to be the most dominant group on the field in any and everything that we do. And having that mindset and having that approach, it only raises the level and standard of everybody else around you. So the more you have that, the more that raises the room, the more it raises the offense, the more it raises the team in general. So no question. I don't think you can ever have enough of that alpha dog mentality in that room.
With someone like Tretch, who's been out for a significant part of the spring, just how have you seen him keep engaged, and what have you been trying to do to help him during this part where he obviously can't be on the field?
Yeah, you know what? And I told Tretch this, man, is we've all been through it. We've all unfortunately had this game taken away from us at some point or some fashion. And, man, I think the biggest thing for a young man like him is use it as a blessing in disguise. It's a test for the testimony. And it makes you appreciate this game so much. And in that regard, use it as a way to develop another side of your game. The two biggest aspects for him will be the mental side of the game, and will also be the leadership characteristics as well. Being able to be a voice within that room, regardless of, hey, I may not be on the field, but at the end of the day, I see these things from a different vantage point. I can be able to help the guys around me from that standpoint. And the mentality of the game, being able to dissect what the defense is doing at a faster rate, being able to process still at the end of the day in the back, getting reps. Hey, I got this assignment right here. What would I do versus this coverage? And so being able to garnish those mental reps at the end of the day, even in the meeting room, still a guy that's being able to take notes and still be able to apply himself mentally. I think that is huge for that kid's landmark and where he's headed to. So it's been fun to watch, even just during this process, his maturation.
You guys all good here with Coach?